channel. My name is Brandy, and this is Wear Jesus Ministries, where I believe in wearing all of God so that we can look more like Him. I pray that you have had a great start to your new year and that you're staying warm. I know that where I'm at right now, it is very cold, so enjoy the snow, enjoy those cold temperatures, and make sure you're staying warm. If this is your first time tuning in, I want to say welcome and I thank you so much for watching, and I pray that this video blesses you. In today's video, I wanted to just talk briefly about how we can make 2024 our best year spiritually and give some practical tips on how we can draw closer to God and make it our best year with Him. My first tip that we can do this year to help it be our best year spiritually is making intimacy with God a priority. And when I say intimacy, I think it's different probably from everyone, but when I say intimacy, I mean like spending that quality time with God where you're not there to ask Him for anything, although you have needs or you have things that are going on that you really need God to intervene in. This particular time with God is spent just seeking Him and worshiping Him just because of who He is. And you can do that by prayer, you can do that by worship, you can do that by journaling. There's just so many different things that you can do to spend quality time with God. Sometimes it just may be some quiet time where you're not doing anything, that you just actually sit to hear Him, to listen to Him, and hear His voice and His will for you. So I think it's important to take some time intentionally every day because our lives are busy and it's really, our schedules can get really hectic. And so I think it's good to be intentional every day to find some time with God where you are seeking Him, you're thanking Him, and you are spending some quality, intimate time with Him where you're not asking for any time. And we all have different things that are going on and we have needs and things that we desire. And so I think a lot of our personal time with God does involve those things, asking for those things in the petitions of our heart and all of that. But I do think in order to go deeper with God and to grow with Him, we need to have some intentional time where we're just spending time with Him, which is quality time, where we're not asking for anything but His presence. My second tip to make this your best year spiritually is to implement and add to your life fasting and consecration throughout the whole year. Not just at the beginning, which is pretty popular, or maybe towards the end, but make fasting and consecration a regular part of your relationship with God. And fasting, the biblical definition of it is to go without food for spiritual purposes, and consecration is really the same thing except for it's non-food. So things that are not food, and you're neglecting those things for spiritual purposes, and that could be like social media and or anything that you feel that God is leading you to give up for a period of time to draw closer to Him, to have more time with Him. I love Dr. Myles Munroe, and I'll have to link in the description some videos from him on fasting and prayer. That he has, to me, in my opinion, some of the best material out there on how to fast and pray and what it really means to do so and how to do it biblically. And you just get really great results when you do that. And to me, I just believe that God really does pour out His Spirit on those who are willing to push back their plate and to go without some things that really do please our flesh, to spend more time with Him. And I believe we hear His voice more because of that. And it really does create that intimate relationship that He really does desire to have with us. So I really do recommend doing the fasting and consecration throughout the year and praying to God and being led by the Holy Spirit on how you can do that for you, because it's different for everybody. There's some people who will do it weekly, some do it monthly, some people will find a few meals out of the week that they feel God is leading them to not have, or social media, they'll go without it certain times of the year. So it's good to just pray to God for yourself and be led by the Holy Spirit on what exactly He would have you to do. My third and final tip to make this your best year spiritually is to get in the habit of practicing gratitude. I think a lot of times our hearts mean well, but sometimes we are hurting, and sometimes we really are experiencing really hard circumstances, and we will focus more on those circumstances than all that God has already done for us and all that He's currently doing for us. And so for me, I know the last couple of years for me have been really rough, and one of the things that God really made me focus on was being thankful. Just like 1 Thessalonians 5:18 tells us to always give thanks in every circumstance, no matter what's happening. And I really had to be intentional, because if we're not careful, we can really be going through some really, really hard circumstances. And when, like I said, we can keep our focus there instead of really focusing in on God. And so I had to be intentional because I was just hurting that bad. And so I just want to encourage you this year to do the same thing as I continue to try to do the same thing, to be thankful and to focus on all that God has done and what he's doing. And even if you have to write a list and be practical, especially when all you see, sometimes you feel like all you're seeing is something wrong every time you turn around. Just make a practice of listing things that God is doing for you and what he's done for you and where you're at and where you used to be. So I really do encourage you to be thankful more and to think about those things that we really are thankful for, even if we're not focusing on those things. I pray so much that this video has blessed you. I pray it has encouraged you. And I really do pray that it will be your best year spiritually. I pray you will use these tips and it will help you to go deeper and walk more with God this year in 2024. Be blessed, and I'll see you back next week.